Yeah. Yeah, of course.
All right.
Can you have your hand raised? Everyone has their hand raised. Okay. I'm assuming the hands are raised to be promoted to panelists. I'm sending the panelists invitations and please accept.
Right after you do yeah. Because we're supposed to get those 7 8.
Which makes it nice now, because now I can fix it.
Good evening, all. I'm going to call the meeting attention at 6:42 this evening. We have a long agenda, so I want to get started. We're gracious hosts. City College has allowed us to be here this evening, so I don't want to belabor the meeting any longer than it has. We have elections, we have introductions, we have presentations. So I'd like to get started at this time. For those who don't know and visiting for the first time, my name is Victor Edwards. I have the pleasure most of the time of being the chair of the board and the honor all the time. So our first presentation is on rat contraceptive pilot program, which will be in CB9. It's going to be given by Department of Health. And Caroline Bragton, I believe so, you're online?
Yes, I'm right here and I'm going to share my screen if that's okay.
Yes, floor is yours.
Thank you so much for having me. My name is Caroline Bragdon. I'm the Director of Neighborhood Interventions for Pest Control at the New York City Department of Health and Mental Hygiene. And I'm going to talk a little bit about our rat contraceptive pilot program, which actually began this month in June. So I will jump right into it so we have time for questions. So Local Law 101 of 2024 was passed by City Council. And what the local law did was it established a pilot program to deploy contraceptives for rats. And the health department, as the purview agency for rat management across the city, was charged with enacting this pilot program in consultation with Department of Sanitation. The law specified that we work in areas that were primarily residential and required to set out waste in receptacles pursuant to sanitation rules. The local law also required that the pilot take place within a rat mitigation zone and that it cover at least 20 blocks and also had a comparative control area. So with all of this criteria, there was only one location in the city that met all of this criteria, and that is Community Board 9. So you are the one and only community board that is fully containerized, thanks to Department of Sanitation. And you are also located within the Harlem Rat Mitigation Zone. So we selected the community board, and there are about 40 residential blocks we're going to be working on. And the pilot basically started the very end of May, beginning of June. This is a map, hopefully you can see it, of the pilot blocks. So we're basically covering about 133rd Street to 155th, between Riverside Drive and Bradhurst. We have included 2 parks in this predominantly residential area, and that's Jackie Robinson and Riverside Park. The rat contraceptives will be set out in dispenser stations, and they will only be installed on public property, but in these blocks and neighborhoods in this map here.
Naomi, please mute yourself.
Okay. Sorry.
The study is designed to be a 12-month study. So we'll be starting this month or May and running until 2026. Our regular programming, which is a routine inspection program and an outreach and education program, will continue as usual. So nothing's changing, with a couple of key things. So one is all inspections, response to 311 complaints, that will all continue as always. We will continue to send property owners who are failing to follow the health code around pest control. We'll still send enforcement letters. What we won't be doing anymore is any baiting with the traditional rodenticide products. We will only be using the contraceptive products. We're using 3 different contraceptive products, are all on the market. We're testing out all 3 to compare and contrast them. And we'll be basically on the blocks covered in the study every 2 weeks. So you're going to see a lot of us. You'll see our staff out there. They'll be wearing health department gear. You are welcome to go up and talk to them, ask them questions. They will be continuously and routinely surveying all of these blocks for rat activity. We'll also be looking at garbage conditions and other conditions that may attract rats, particularly around the newly installed Empire bins. And we will be very carefully measuring the amounts of rat contraceptive that are in each station on every visit. So you may see us out there with little scales, you know, weighing and measuring the contraceptives that are in the station. So we're going to be measuring overall the success of this pilot through a couple of different techniques. So one is we're using remote sensors, and remote sensors are going to be in the dispenser stations, and they'll basically record every time a rat visits the station. We will also be doing the surveys that the inspectors do, which is basically looking at the entire block, the environment of the block, the conditions on the block, and whether or not rats are nesting on the block. And then, as I said, we're going to be measuring exactly how much of the 3 contraceptive products are consumed, because what we're trying to see is both are these contraceptives having an impact on rats, but also, very importantly, are the rats willing to consume it? Because the one thing we know about contraceptives is they will not work unless they are consumed. So they have to be regularly consumed by the rats in order to work. If there's competing garbage on the block, it makes it harder to get the rats to eat the contraceptives, which is why we'll also be measuring the presence of garbage on the block. We are prioritizing locations that have high rat activity for the installation of the dispensers. So we're picking our locations very, very carefully, and we're choosing locations where we can see that rats are active right now. The stations will look a little bit like this. They do have a sensor inside them, so you won't be able to see the sensor. You also won't be able to see the product. The products come in different formulations. So there will be 3 contraceptive products and 1 control non-toxic product. As I said, part of what we're measuring is the willingness of the rats to consume these products. So we're looking at the different formulations. Do the rats prefer eating pellets versus a solid bait versus a liquid bait? So we're measuring these against each other. One of the products is called Contrapest. It is a liquid bait. It looks kind of milky. You will not be able to see it because it will be locked inside these dispenser stations. The liquid is in kind of a cup with a little lid. The rats will, put their head inside and drink it, basically. And then the company that sells it alleges that it's very delicious to rats. We will see. The other, this is what the station will look like. It is a white station, so you'll see it kind of stands out from what a typical station will look like. There will also be a sticker on the station that has a QR code on it. So if you're wondering if the station is part of the pilot or just something that was placed out by, a contractor, you can scan the QR code and it will bring you to our website and tell you what it is. We want people to feel informed, so that's why we put these stickers on every station. The Contrapest is not intended for consumer use. It is only allowed to be installed by a licensed exterminator. We really ask that people don't mess with these stations. And they are tamper resistant, so a dog or a cat or a child cannot get inside. But we don't want people kicking them, picking them up, throwing them, moving them around, because that will impact our ability to do a good scientific study. The next product is called Evolve. It looks and smells like a sausage. The rats are supposed to really enjoy eating this one as well. It has an active ingredient of cottonseed oil. It is considered extremely low toxicity. It is, if a pet is exposed, it shouldn't have any harm whatsoever to them, but it will, if consumed in large quantities, induce transient infertility in small mammals. So again, it will be secured in a tamper-resistant bait station. Looks like this. The sausages will be on rods, so they can't be kicked out of the station. But again, we don't want people to mess around with them. No dog, cat, squirrel should be able to get access to these, and we don't expect any exposure from anything other than rats, right? That's who is supposed to be consuming these products. Okay, and then the next product is actually an experimental product that's made by a nonprofit organization. It comes in a pellet. It's called Wisdom Good Bites, and the pellets are going to be secured in a cup inside a tamper-resistant bait station. Again, these are considered extremely low toxicity. They are not registered with the EPA as a pesticide or a rodenticide. They are not even registered. They are pellets that are intended for research only, because we really don't know if they have the intended effect, which is to cause transient infertility in rodents. So this is why we're doing this pilot, because we don't know if these products even work. Of course, the companies that make them say they work. but we are doing this pilot so that we can see for ourselves if they are the kind of product that might work in New York City. All right, so we want to be available to you, to the community board, because it is very important that you all feel in the loop about this pilot. I am basically available to you. I am in contact with Youtha. I am routinely walking the blocks, looking at the products. My team is out there with me. We try to wear Department of Health clothing at all times, and please feel free to come up to us. I am also happy to talk to anyone who feels any concern about the pilot. We really don't want people to feel worried about it. We want people to be kind of excited. It's the first pilot project of its kind in a large urban area. There have been smaller urban studies, but this is the biggest one that we know of to date. And we're very excited to see if this works. And you know, we want to add as many new tools to our toolbox in our rat mitigation efforts. And this is a potential tool. The QR code that will be on every single one of the stations will offer, it will lead you to a website that will show the label of every single one of the products. So let's say somebody's dog rips apart one of the stations and gets into it. The owner, all they have to do is scan the QR code, and it will bring you to the label of the product. You can bring it to your vet or make a quick phone call. If you're walking by and you see a station and you have questions about it, you can also scan and see, you know, what is this, what's going on here. I do have a public facing email, ratportal@health.nyc.gov, where we will accept questions from the community, but of course the board itself, you're welcome to reach me directly. And then we plan to regularly brief the council member and the community board, basically as often as you wish. I can provide updates. The one thing that we're asking is no press. And the reason we're trying to avoid press is that some of the companies that manufacture contraceptives, their marketing ploy is to put out lots of press. And in the press, they're just trying to get the word out about their products. But we don't want the word to be New York City is using rat contraceptives to reduce rats in neighborhoods. We are not. We are studying rat contraceptives in a New York City neighborhood because we don't know if these products work or not. We don't even know if the rats will eat them. And so we are learning as we go. In a year from now, we'll be able to say, and hopefully you'll be able to say, what are the results of this pilot? Do we think it's a useful and impactful tool or not? So we don't want to use the press as a method for these companies to advertise their products, which is why we're keeping our press to a minimum for now, but we are very happy to work with the community and alongside the community about on this pilot and to answer questions. And so with that, I will stop talking and say, do you have any questions?
Yes, Ted.
Hi.
Hi. I have two questions for you. Firstly, as a former chair of Community Board 9, St. Luke's Hospital wanted to deal with the pigeon problem. And at the time, they put out birdseed, which was laced with contraceptives. And the PETA group raised all sorts of holy hell, and the hospital gave up on it. Have you had any problems on this question? And then I have one more.
Okay, that's a great question. And so I'll say, in that respect, we are going to look for any unintended consequences, so secondary consequences. However, because City Council passed this as a law, we don't really have a choice, right? We weren't doing this pilot as a choice. We're doing it because local law 101 established this pilot. What I will say is that I believe that the council established this pilot out of a belief that the contraceptives would have less of a secondary impact on other wildlife than the most popular product in rat mitigation is right now an anticoagulant bait, which has been associated with deaths in predatory birds. So I think this is an effort to actually reduce potential secondary impacts on wildlife by using this as an alternative to other kinds of baits. And I hope that makes sense, because as I said, we do not yet know what secondary impacts are out there for other wildlife. The companies that manufacture the products allege that there is no risk for secondary poisoning, and we will be putting the products out in tamper-resistant stations so that other kinds of wildlife can't get access.
Okay, thank you for that answer. Next question.
Can
Ted,
I ask my other question?
No,
We
Ted.
have a full schedule, Ted. You can put it in the chat and we'll ask it.
Okay.
All right.
Just quick, I just want to know, how much is this costing?
Is there a cost? Do you have a cost for the city?
We were not provided any funding. We are using existing staff. So what we've done is taken staff out of their normal duties to do this pilot.
And what about the
Okay.
actual contraceptions for the rat?
Oh, we've spent about $40,000 so far.
Okay. Peanut?
Why contraceptive instead of killing?
Question was why contraceptive instead of killing them?
Yeah, so the reason council first considered this as a local law, and again, I don't know if anyone from city council is here who wants to speak on this legislation, but again, it was passed by city council requiring us to do this.
Gotcha.
But there is concern in the industry about the use of second generation anticoagulant rodenticides, which is what is used to kill rats, because as these products build up in rodents, if a predatory bird consumes the rat, that anticoagulant will then build up inside the predatory bird and potentially kill them or harm them. And so the concern about these products has motivated many groups to look into alternative products.
All right. Yes, sir.
Bill, I'm curious if there's signage. I think the QR code is wonderful for Apple, but will normal people walking down the street be aware that that's what's in this container?
In addition to the QR code, it just says rat contraceptive pilot. And if you, all right, so instead of Apple, if you Google rat contraceptive pilot, it will bring you to our website. But we did not, if somebody has a question about the full label of any product, we couldn't paste those on the station. So we want, the labels are available on the website.
But not, in other words, a 3-year-old child walking down the street, their parents will know not to have the kids play with it.
Yeah, I mean, again, these are tamper resistant stations. You cannot open them without a key.
Okay.
So no one can get inside them. You know, the only times I've ever seen one of these actually get broken is if a car backed up over it, or something like that. And in that case, we would, you know, go pick it up. Sometimes a raccoon or a dog might play with it, shake it, mess with it, and we'll pick that activity up with our sensors, and we'll just go and try to reinstall it. If you see that someone's tampering with one, just feel free to let us know, and we'll go out and reinstall it. They're secured to the ground with either a liquid nail or a duck bill, which strongly secures it, kind of locks it to the ground. Jordan, did you have a question?
Yeah, you mentioned, first of all, thank you so much for your diligence on this. I'm excited about it. You mentioned that the second two products are really low in toxicity. So if, say, my 8-pound dog were to get into it, she would be fine. That first product, the liquid one, is that also low toxicity?
So in the dose, so you can see here, hopefully you can see the active ingredients, because I'm not going to try to pronounce it. It is a chemical. And because it is a chemical, it is considered restricted use. It is an extremely low dose. So it's 0.09% active ingredient. A non-target would have to sit down and intentionally drink all of this for any kind of an impact. But because it's a restricted use, you can only use it in areas that it's labeled. You have to use it around man-made structures, and it must be in a tamper-resistant station. So your dog would not be able to get access to this. But even if they did, an 8-pound dog would need 8 times more than a 1-pound rodent, and a 1 pound, you know, to have any kind of effective dose. These are also multi-feed products, meaning rats have to continuously feed on them to work. They stop working once you stop consuming, or once the intended target stops consuming. They will, it's a transient reduction in fertility.
Thank you. That answers my question.
Last question, we have to move. Go ahead.
My question is, you said that you would be Face Me and Riverside Park and Colonial Park, but you have faces like Donnelly Square, these little areas that are squares where people will eat, rats are there, they're very prevalent. Are there any plans of putting these stations in these like places like Donnelly Square, which is from 149th Street and St. Nicholas to 150th Street?
Right now, we don't have any plans. I'm trying to zoom in on my map. The only plaza like that we have stations installed is Johnny Hartman, which is near where you are right now. It's around 143rd. It's that triangular plaza, but all of the stations are in the green space, which is fenced. So it's not in areas where people are walking or sitting. We are trying our best to conceal the stations so that people are less likely to tamper with them.
I guess what I'm trying to say is that stations should be put there, since people
It's-
picnic and such in there.
It's a pilot, so as the pilot move forward, they'll probably put it in more locations, but these were selected for the pilot, all right?
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Brandon. We'll be in touch with you with any questions, but I appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thanks for
Caroline.
having me, everybody. Bye-bye.
At this point, into order at 7:12, a motion to adopt the agenda would be in order.
So move.
By whom? Second by whom? John Martin Green, adopt the minutes with any necessary corrections.
So move, Tina.
Tina, and second by
Ted,
Ted. All right, as you know, we have elections tonight, and Laquita Henry, thank you for your hard work on this. I really appreciate it, and you have an announcement.
Thank you very much, and thank you all for coming out and participating during the last couple of weeks with preps and tests to ensure that your vote counts. The ballots will be emailed out at 7:15 p.m. That's in a couple of minutes to your email address. Check your spam just to make sure. If you do not see it, the sender is CB9 Election Buddy. Now, we have paper ballots available in the back just in case. But check your spam to make sure because the tallying will be far easier with that. The cutoff time for voting will be 8:15 p.m. If we can extend or need to extend another 15 minutes or so, I will make the request and come to the microphone. We anticipate that if all is on time, we should be able to complete our tally by 8:45 and come to the microphone to present the results. We will need a copy of roll call when that's completed. And just to repeat one thing, if you need paper ballots, they will be along the side. The committee, which includes our technical consultants, Stephanie Mortensen, and April Adams, are in the back with me at the table. So the paper ballot looks exactly like the online. Any questions, just come back. Pay attention to the, the time. Thank you very much. Thank you, Lydia.
Alrighty, moving on with our agenda, we're gonna skip for now the introduction of new members to the end because we had to put a lot of the action items from last time holding over. So we're gonna do that at the end. I do wanna hear from everybody. A lot of you I've met at some of the committee meetings. Thank you for coming out, and looking forward to working with you. So we will jump into my chair's report that's in your packet. I'm going to go over it briefly and try to keep it moving. The first item you might notice there is attendance. We can't run the board without people in person. I know this hybrid, people work from home. We need you here for a quorum to vote most of the time. And oftentimes when you come to these meetings, you're sitting next to someone, you talk about other issues. Online, it's hard to do that. So I'm stressing that people come to the meetings to be excused from the general board or the executive board meeting. It has to come from the chair for that to be done. The committee meetings, it comes from the co-chairs of that committee. All right, so to be clear, I've been to several meetings. I watched meetings online, and I had the dissatisfaction of watching the meeting recently where no one was in the audience. I had two co-chairs there, and I looked and not one member was there. Now that is aggravating to me and to the co-chairs to show up, put together an agenda, have people come and speak, and no one's there. So one of the things we will be doing in this coming session is looking at our bylaws as far as removal of people for lack of attendance. So for new people, check out the bylaws, see what you, how that works, how I'm just hoping everybody comes. We need input. I've read the resumes and we have some great people here on the board. And we need the participation. So attendance is key. New board members, as I said, 18 new board members, probably the most ever. And we have lawyers, we have doctors, we have accountants, we have a little bit of everything. And that's what we need. And living in different sections of our community. So we get that broad spectrum of people and ideas, what's happening. So I'm really looking forward to working with people. As far as committees, we've sent out notices for you to send back 2 committees and an alternate that you'd like to be on. How that works is you'll send that in. We've been looking at resumes to see what your skill sets are. And then we look at committees to see where it fits and how many people. Right now, our housing committee has been decimated. We have 2 people. So we're gonna have to fill that. Some people have asked for that committee. I'm glad to see that. Some people have a housing background, excellent. So that would be very helpful. Committee co-chairs, as you know, we lost both of our housing co-chairs. We are looking for a health committee second, and also landmarks, parks, and preservation. So we're looking at people for that as well. There probably will be some new people that will be considered for those positions.
Yeah,
because
instead, I wanted to give you my votes.
not
And
yet.
you can get.
Thank you. New people, because we're term limited at some point and we'll be leaving, and we need people to take on, but you need the training for that to happen. So you know, one day a lot of us are missing, and I said, well, how did they do that? But if we bring new people on as co-chairs, that can kind of foster that relationship early. So that's my thought process there. Next item is the Mayor's Charter Revision Commission, which kind of snuck up on me. One of the things they're looking at, among several things, is a ULURP process, Universal Land Use Review process, and limiting or eliminating community boards from that. Now, that, if you haven't read what that is, that's a very important process. Barry, Sydney, and Liz fought some tough fights, excuse me, recently to make sure we have a voice, what goes on in our community. As I mentioned at the last meeting, and it's no secret, I was tried to be removed because of my persistence of not having supportive housing all in one area. Okay, I'm not against supportive housing, as one of the council members have said, not to my face, but behind my back. But I'm saying you can't put it all in one area, right? Because issues come with that. So I'm not against having it in a district, but I'm against having it within a 4-block radius. Okay, it just doesn't make sense. I've worked and done counseling and drug treatment, so I know some things about that. So anyway, the commission and that voice in the ULURP process is important for us to say what goes on in our community. We know what happens here. We need at least a voice, not the final voice maybe, but just for people to hear us. So we met recently and expressed our dissatisfaction with that proposal to one of the people organizing that. All right. West Harlem Arts Alliance Community Art Space, they've been working on this for a while. I'm hoping that they do get the space on 147th and Broadway. It's a former church there. I've taught it along with a couple other people here. Looks good. It's a Columbia space. I think it'll be a good home for them, and we'll be able to work with them as well. On another nice note, I attended 2 ribbon cutting ceremonies recently, one for a dog run on 142nd and one for a seafood restaurant on 112th and Manhattan Avenue. So those are the dog park I've been to. It's really nice. People utilize it. I haven't eaten at the seafood restaurant yet. Sort of a kiosk more than a restaurant, but I'm looking forward to stopping and doing that.
Is that on 112?
112th in Manhattan, right across from Lafayette Square there. Yeah. The other thing for new members that I was thinking of, and I'm trying to make this happen, is sort of a buddy system. New people come on and they might have questions. So I want to partner you up with someone that's already been on the board. You could call that person and say, or email and say, what about this? What about this question I have? So I'm looking at trying to get some of our seasoned members to work with us on that. I think that would be good. Last session, we had someone who's a parliamentarian on the board, but I never knew that until they left. And they've emailed me since with some great ideas, but my question was, why you could have done that while you were here. So if you have ideas, suggestions, or comments, or even criticisms, I'm open for those. You know, I learned from people here that we work with. I'm open to suggestions, you know, criticisms, things that will help us. Lastly, you see my comment on the end. As we end this season, we're losing quite a few members. Some are relocating, some are moving on in their careers. 2 members are taking what I call a strategic break and will rejoin. Barry Weinberg and Annette Robinson will rejoin at another date. And it's a strategic, so we don't have everybody leaving at one time due to term limits. As I said here, we lost our 2 housing co-chairs. I want to thank them for the great work they've done. They have. They will be, as you can see, they will be public members along with Barry and helping us along the way. That's the kind of dedication that they have. Regardless of what other people say or think. I know I've dealt with the 3 of them and it's a loss. But like I said, they're here as public members still helping out. And that speaks value. Some people leave the board and they just leave in a huff and you never see them again. This is dedication. And I hope that's seen by some other people in this community, not too far from this building. And I definitely want to thank my board, first Vice Chair Barry. Thank you for all you've done and you will be doing with me. My second isn't here at the moment, and our treasurer is running a little bit late. And Solomon, thank you for all this. And last, and certainly not least, our office staff, Yutha Prince, who really runs the board. And our 2 office staff members as well, who have really held up well under the pressure. Thank you. So, as I said at the bottom, it takes a village. I always say that wherever I go. We can't do this alone. The people sitting up here, it takes all 51 of us or whoever shows up. Public session, we get good ideas as well. So we're going to move forward with the agenda. Treasurer's report is in your package. District manager's report.
Is in your packet. In essence of time, I'm just referring to my report that's included in your packet. If you have any questions or anything that you'd like to discuss with me, you can meet me after the meeting or certainly during regular office hours. After this meeting, the board will be on hiatus, but the district office will be open Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Please come by if it's just to say hello. Thank you. Yes, Barry.
Turn on the closed captions, because sometimes it's hard to hear and say help.
Thank you. All right. West Harlem Development Corp. report.
Good evening, everyone. I guess in the interest of time, I'll just go through some of the things briefly. But some things have to be said, so please be patient with me. WHDC issued a statement on the passing of Congressman Charles Rangel. And the statement is in the report, but I just wanted to acknowledge, of course, Congressman Rangel for his leadership and service to the community. He is our congressman. May he continue to be an inspiration to all of us. And I can't mention Congressman Rangel without acknowledging Jeff Eaton, who was, Congressman Rangel's, chief of staff for many years, and he passed away last year. He was also a member of the, WHDC board. So I just wanted to acknowledge him as well. The WHDC next board meeting will be held on Wednesday, June 25th, via Zoom. There was a new, board member outreach. Candidate interviews were conducted on June 10th. The committee's decisions will be reported to the Board of Directors for, approval during the, June 25th meeting. The community benefit grants, were posted on the WHDC website. The application deadline is June 20th. Please visit the website at westharlemdc.org for more information. Let's see. Oh, there was a profile on the website of the West Harlem Older Adult Alliance, and it's featured on the website, and it featured some of the activities that we've been doing for the past several years. I'm honored to be a part of WOA, and I appreciate the opportunity, as well as working with Mr. William Hamer of Harlem Advocates for Seniors, and my CB9 colleagues, Walter Alexander, Patricia Caldwell, Deirdre McIntosh Brown, and Francina Waring. That's all of them for the work that they in the community, Board Chair Milton Tingling was honored as named as one of City and State Magazine's 2025 Law Power 100. He's the first African American to serve as Manhattan County Clerk and the first former judge to serve as the county clerk in New York history. Also, his father, the late Milton Tingling Sr., and his daughter, the Asia Tingling, are the only known three-generation family of African American judges in the country. And that deserves that was. And also congratulations to Darlene Grant Bruce. She has been appointed to the New York State Board of Parole. Some of you may know Darlene. She used to work with Assemblyman Taylor, Al Taylor. She was general counsel to him, where she worked on a variety of legal issues. Also, she had worked for as special master court attorney and general counsel at West Harlem Group Assistance. Congratulations to her on that achievement. West Harlem Older Adult Alliance, we're having a trip. I'm sorry, I forgot to say happy Juneteenth. Happy Juneteenth, everyone. You don't need a history lesson. You all know what Juneteenth is about, so we'll go on. The West Harlem Older Adult Alliance is having a trip to Yankee Stadium tomorrow on Juneteenth. They're gonna play the Los Angeles Angels. And as more events about will be taking place, we will make sure that we let everyone know. Together in Harlem, there's going to be a Together in Harlem event, a special summer event promoting health and safety in our community on Saturday, June 21st. In addition to the New York City Multicultural Festival, Joyce, shout out to Joyce, and try to support everything that you can. There's going to be free walking tours. The month of June, there have been free walking tours by the West Harlem Alliance and the Northern Manhattan Arts Alliance. There's free walking tours with Mr. John Reddick. He is a cultural historian, architect, and founding member of Harlem Pride. The next free walking tour will be on Saturday, June 28th, from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And they will meet at Montefiore Park on 137th Street and Broadway. And please visit the West Harlem Arts Alliance website if you'd like more information. Are there any questions or comments?
Let's
Okay.
hope that our seniors can help the Yankees.
For the last game, the Mets lost. We have high hopes. Always good to see you, Ted. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for speaking up.
Thank you, Pat.
And thank you, and please accept my best wishes to everyone for a happy and delightful and joyous summer season. I look forward to seeing you all again in September. Peace and blessings always. Thank you.
Next speaker is from the Manhattan Borough President's Office.
Good evening, everyone. I bring you greetings on behalf of the Borough President, Mark Levine. My name is Sean Brandon. I'm the Community Liaison, CB9 and CB10. Through the time, I have a couple of things just to bring to your attention. Number one, the Borough President recently did an op-ed highlighting the success of the zero interest loan program that he started with the Hebrew Loan Society. You can find that at our website at manhattanbp.nyc.gov. The second thing is the BP recently urged the rent guideline boards to vote for a rent freeze for rent stabilized tenants in 2025. And after 3 consecutive years of rent increases, the rent guideline board will have a final vote on Wednesday, June 25th, and public hearings are ongoing until then. Lastly, the Borough President's office will be marching in the annual Pride Parade on June 29th. That Sunday, if you want to join us, please go to events at manhattanbp.nyc.gov. Pat kind of stole my thunder with the Juneteenth, but I'm going to say this: Happy belated Father's Day. We're all fathers in the crowd, and fathers, mentors, however you want to be. That kind of got lost in the sauce.
How'd you miss that, Pat?
How'd you miss that?
Come on.
So unless there's any questions, I'll be here to the end. Feel free to ask me any questions. If I can answer anything, I'll try. If not, I'll get back to you.
Thank you, Sean.
Thank you.
All righty, we're going to go into public session. Just to remind those speaking, it's 3 minutes, no longer. And our first person is online. That would be Naomi Goldberg. You have 3 minutes, Ms. Goldberg.
Sorry. Me.
Everyone, I'm here with Naomi. Naomi has a speech disability, so I'm gonna be speaking for her and with her. So I'm Miriam Grill. I'm the Program and Events Manager for Dances for a Variable Population. I'm gonna share my screen right now. Naomi Goldberg Haas, she's the lovely woman in the middle here. She's the Artistic Director of Dances for a Variable Population. And what we do is we work with older adults and seniors in your neighborhood in many boroughs of New York, actually, giving education classes in creative movement, choreography, but mostly community building is a lot of what we do through these movement classes. Every year, Every year we have a revival performance, and we have this year at Grant's Tomb, Saturday, June 21st. It starts at 5 p.m. with a dance workshop for everyone. You don't have to be a dancer. You don't have to be a performer. Bring your family. And then at 6 p.m., we have a performance choreographed by these very prestigious choreographers that you see in front of you. And each of the performances is about one of the boroughs in New York. Are you able to hear this video if I play it?
Much better. Thank you so much for being here to be a part of the Revival Aid.
Can I have a thumbs up or a thumbs no? Great.
A celebration.
This kind of shows you one of our performances at Grant's Tomb before. We have a lot of dancers. We have 2 dance groups from Harlem. This dance group is from Queens. You'll see them perform. Here's another one from the Village. But this was last year's group, and now we have new groups. So you'll have to come to Grant's Tomb to find out. It's a lot of fun, and we hope that you'll be able to make it. Yeah. Please reach out to me or Naomi. Our website, I'll put it in the chat, but our website is DVP, Dances for a Variable Population, nyc.org, dvpnyc.org. And we hope to see you this Saturday.
Great, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
Next up is no name, it's just Black Lives Health Matters.
Oh.
Black Life Health Matters. Okay, moving on.
Oh, I wish they were here. She was here. She visited that.
She was at executive, but they were
Okay.
coming tonight also.
George Bruce Library. Always welcome, thank you.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Janelle Carter Bowman, the manager of the George Bruce Library. And just want to make a couple announcements that we're kicking off all of our summer activities for all ages. We will actually have our children's summer kickoff celebration on Friday, June 20th at 4 p.m. So, please bring your children 12 and under. And just, as a reminder that, sometimes we forget that a lot of families stop reading during the summer. And it's very important that sometimes just bringing them into the space to get them inspired and also modeling the behavior with them as adults to read with them. And with that as well, our summer reading is not just for children. We have activities for adults as well. So on Saturday, June 21st at 2 p.m., we are going to be having a reading rhythms party in our community room. This will be Saturday at 2 p.m. So we're trying to be a little more innovative to bring more adults and make reading more fun. So this will be basically a free reading party. So please feel free to come. It's free, meet and mingle with fellow book lovers. And this is basically a public reading party that we'll be holding in our branch. For teens, this summer we'll be focusing on zine making and collage making. So we'll be starting on June 27th at 3 p.m. And this will be on our first floor in the teen zone. So please, like this summer, just remind your family and friends just to come into the library and just remember, it's okay to come in to read this summer. We're a cooling center, we're a safe space. This is a reminder, we have free internet, just a safe, warm, welcoming space for you to be this summer. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, next up, Riverview Towers Community Relations Committee. Welcome. Thank you.
My name is Jasmine Genevieve Timms. I am the granddaughter of Jenny Genevieve Eason, who served tirelessly on Community Board 9. And in so doing, her name is now graced on our street corner of 139th Street and Riverside Drive, due to all of the work that she put in and to Mark Levine's office and to our community and our neighbors. I just wanted to say that my grandmother also served on the board at Riverview Towers. I am currently on the board as well. She has passed on, she's not here to see this, but the work that we're doing is pretty incredible. We have a community relations committee, we have a committee of concern. I am the chair of both. And I'm here to make a statement on behalf of our committee of community relations. We at Riverview Towers are respectfully requesting that the Romantic Depot store located at 3418 Broadway change or dim the window display during after-school hours, 3 to 8 p.m., so that minors can travel safely from school without being exposed to the extreme mature content that is featured in the window. We wish to coexist with you, the store, and watch your business thrive without harm to the children of our community. As the store is open from 11 a.m. to 1 a.m., there are plenty of hours for the windows to be restored to their current state. We have photos as well. Please consider our request, the Concerned Community Relations Committee at Riverview Towers, 626 Riverside Drive. And for all of those who are here from the building, you can stand if you like. Show your support. And I'm just gonna pass the photos down.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
While we're looking at the photos, I wanted to also mention that Jenny Easton served on our senior issues committee, our youth committee, our housing committee, our personnel committee for many years.
Tirelessly.
Yes, she did. And when I looked in the audience, I thought I was looking at her. When I saw Judy, she looks just like Judy.
That's my mother.
Like Jenny So you're Cafe Mom?
No, I'm the sister.
Okay, okay.
The other daughter.
Yes, I know the whole family through Jenny.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I told you, you look familiar.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
The question?
Is the letter inclusive of the morning hours, like, will the mannequins, are we requesting that the mannequins be covered? In other words, it would be at, when the school is exiting, but in the morning, when they're on the way to school, just not one of them is able to take their eyes off the mirror.
We were starting with the afternoon, and if this gets passed, if it happens, we can go to the morning.
But it's not open.
But the display is there.
But the gates are down. Okay, gates down. You should want to hear that back part. Gates are down. As much as I know, I'm like,
Yes. Thank you again. Appreciate that. All right, our next speaker is Barry Weinberg.
Thank you, Victor. I will keep it very brief, certainly under 3 minutes. I am Barry Weinberg. I am a public member of the Housing, Zoning and Land Use Committee. I formerly served on this board as a member and chair and vice chair. But I am calling because this board is no stranger to holding our elected officials accountable, but we also should celebrate them when they do things that help our community. And so I wanted to give an update on Senate Bill 6685 and Assembly Bill 7587. These were bills introduced by Senator Cordell Clare and Assemblymember Al Taylor to update the statute, the Health and Hospitals Corporation Statute of New York, that hasn't been updated much since 1969 when it was passed, to remove references to the New York City Board of Estimate and clarify that when they dispose of property, they must go through the city's Uniform Land Use Review Procedure process. ULURP. I believe it is this bill that got HHC to do a ULURP for the project on 145th Street in Amsterdam. We should still pass those bills. But the Assembly bill did not make it out of committee. The full Senate voted on and passed Senator Clare's bill. The Assembly one was stuck in committee in session, is I believe over now, or will be tonight. But yeah, I just want to say thank you. You made a difference, and you did something that we thought we'd have to have a lawsuit to do. So thank you. And thank you to, I mean, Charlie Rangel was like the legislative lion of our district. But with him gone, it's good to know that we have a legislative lioness also being very effective. So thank you, Senator Clare.
Thank you, Barry. I think Lucas is here from
Sorry.
Lucas, take that back. This is from Senator Clare's office. Thank you. Righty. Next up, Mr. Clayton Sanford.
Dr. Quinn.
Hi, everyone. I'll keep it really brief. I wanted to say first, for those of you who didn't know, I'm unfortunately no longer a member of the board because I'm moving to California to live with my family. I be careful. I may show up once or twice. It's hard to escape community for night. So I wanted to first say thank you and goodbye and best wishes. And I also wanted to say I tried to do a little bit of thinking about like what I wanted to know when I was on the board, what are the types of things that I learned, and I decided to write a few blog posts about how to do stuff on Community Board 9, what are some lessons to learn as a new board member. So I wrote some, most of them are very in the weeds and focused on land use. You know, how do you figure out the zoning of a site? How do you figure out when a building was sold? How do you know how many houses we built or how many Class C HPD violations there are? So I wrote a lot of those up. I think I talked to Hakil and asked if I could share them out with some of the new board members, but my hope is that as Signe and Barry and a lot of other people said, institutional memory is really important. I only have a tablespoon compared to some of the other people in this room, but I want to make sure that gets shared. So yes, that's that. And really, thank you all. It's been fun.
Thank you.
I'll send it out. It's blog.claytonsanford.com, but yeah.
Oh,
it's there.
who we have elected officials, you said who's,
Yes, we have Samantha Lowe from Yusuf Salon's office.
oh, okay. Ms. Samantha Lowe from Yusef Salam's office. Welcome, Ms. Lowe.
Good evening. Good
evening.
evening, everyone. Happy Juneteenth. I'm honored to address you today on behalf of Councilmember Yusuf Salam, who has been steadfast in championing legislation that enhances public safety, supports our communities, and ensures equitable. Thank you. Equitable access to city services. Next Generation 9/11 Reporting sponsored intro, which requires annual reports on information of Next Generation 9/11 services, including efforts to hire accessibility experts and inform the deaf and hard of hearing communities about their services. Housing and tenant protection. Unlawful eviction cases support a resolution urging the New York State legislation to pass legislation requiring unlawful eviction cases to be heard within 5 days, aiming to expedite legal processes for tenants facing illegal lockouts. HPD inspection and scheduling co-sponsored intro, which mandates the Department of Housing Preservation and Development to schedule subsequent inspections when prior attempts are unsuccessful, ensuring tenant safety and compliance. Sanitation and environmental initiatives, official waste containers for small buildings, introduced intro, requiring the provision of official NYC waste containers at no cost to certain residential buildings with 2 or fewer dwellings units, promoting cleanliness and proper waste disposals. Youth and community engagement, after-school program information sponsored intro, which requires the Department of Education to distribute comprehensive information about after-school programs to students and parents, enhancing access to extracurricular activities. And in closing, Councilmember Salam remains committed to working collaboratively with NYPD and community partners to ensure a safer and more equitable New York City for all. Thank you. I forgot to say my name is Samantha Lowe. I am the Director of Community Engagement, and if you want to reach me, I'm at 212-678-4505, and my email is flow@council.nyc.gov. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Okay, Samantha Lowe,
Samantha. Spell your last name?
LOWE,
Okay.
and the number is 212-678-4505. And my email is slow@council.nyc.gov. And if for where we are, we're at the State Building on 125th, on the 2nd floor. Okay. Thank you and have a good night.
Thank you.
Enjoy your summer.
Thank you.
Yeah, I can make. So, board members, if you are online, please indicate so in the chat. The elections committee needs to know that you're online, and if you're here, please let them know.
We're gonna do a roll call. So we're just so you know, we're gonna do a roll call for bylaws state that you have to be in person or present online to be able to vote in elections tonight. So just, we're gonna do a quick roll call of who's here, because I don't know all your faces yet. But if you are online, I have got most of the names that are online, but just put your name in the chat to make sure I've got you present, entitled to vote tonight. And we're gonna do your roll call now.
Yes, you have a few minutes? Oh, you have another,
Yeah, sorry, yeah. So we're gonna do a roll call, right?
yeah, you have, another engagement?
No. Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't know you were on.
No, wait.
I just want to make sure I'm not getting skipped.
Yeah, no, I'm not, no, I see you. Oh, wait.
Sydney, you have the folks that are online?
Yeah, well, I'll come to you because I can't see that as.
Okay.
Yeah.
From nature.
You want me to go to my thing? Okay, I can project. All right, taking roll call, everyone. Good evening. Sorry I was late. I was at another meeting that was happening. So anyway. Walter Alexander. Abra Adams. Joyce Adewume.
Here.
Marquis Bell.
Here.
Andrea Brecker. Did I say the last name right?
Not online?
No.
Okay, she just asked about it, so I'm gonna let her.
Okay, Gregory Brito.
I think he's online.
Okay, I'll keep going. You let me know. Patricia Caldwell.
Here.
Thank you. Cameron Clark. Felipe Castillo, is he on?
I don't see him.
He's up here, yeah. No. We'll address that later, because he's.
Okay, Vanessa Cogman.
Yeah.
Kaufman, sorry, Vanessa. Juan Palomares.
Here.
Thank you. Gretchen Conelli. Keneally, thank you. Carlton Davis.
Yeah.
Dejan Del Pino. Justin Dent.
No. He's excused.
Excuse, he's virtual, but he's not here.
Is he on?
No.
Merida Dunn.
Yeah.
Elizabeth Eastman.
Here.
Victor Edwards.
Here.
Charlotte Fine.
She's online.
He's online.
Okay. Lydia Gerson.
Here.
John Martin Green.
Present.
Michael Gross.
Here.
Daria Hardiman.
Here.
Monique Harding Cordero, present. Laquita Henry.
Present.
Heather Jason. Chris Johnson.
He's excused.
Okay, I'll make sure. Patricia Watler Johnson.
Present.
Milton Justice.
Here.
Tiago Keel. Tiago Keel, sorry, thank you. Thank you.
Got it.
Ted Kovaloff.
Here.
I want to hear that voice. Okay. Christina Maria Lopez.
Here.
Tina Lumley.
Here.
Ria McDonald. Deirdre McIntosh Brown.
Here.
Alana Mercado.
Here.
Clotilde Monguia.
She's been
Trying to
having,
get on.
she's been having internet issues, but she spoke to me on the phone.
So is she here?
No.
If you want me to spoil about it, I can. She called me and gave me her, but we'll talk.
Okay.
Okay, okay. Reverend Morgan Thomas. Lena, okay, I'm gonna mess this one up.
She knows.
Okay, sorry, I have to learn how to say that. Salmon Prophet,
Present.
Teresa Cole Ragan,
Present.
Janara Ramirez. Did I say the first name right? Okay, David Ratner,
Here.
Metin Sarski.
Mateen Sarsi.
Sarsi, Mateen Sarsi.
Trying so hard.
So sorry.
It's all good.
All right. I just want to make sure. Veronica Savage.
Here.
Okay. Jordan Shear.
Present.
Thank you. Shantae Styles.
Present. Great.
Francina Waring.
Excuse.
Shanika Wilson.
I'm here.
Alexander. Okay. How do you pronounce it? Shemanis. Thank you.
Gonna have to ask that one.
And Daniel Clark, Jr.
Got it. Thank you. I've got it now.
Okay.
Oh, okay. All righty, thank you. Next up, elected officials, Senator Cordell Clare's office, Lucas. All right. Eager's good. This is good.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lucas from Senator Clear's office. I promise I didn't pay Barry to shout us out like that. He took one of my updates, though. I wanted to say the 1727 Amsterdam bill passed. So we're very excited about that. It didn't pass the assembly. That's not something we could have controlled, and I think Assemblymember Taylor tried as hard as he could, but they do things differently on the assembly, so I'm not going to speak towards their bill. But I have some events I want to talk about. Tomorrow, Senator Clear is having her annual Juneteenth flag raising at the Harlem State Office Building. She started this tradition 4 years ago, so this is the 4th annual Juneteenth flag raising. There's flyers over there if people are interested. We'll be having a senior job fair. It's going to be at Riverbank State Park in the Performing Arts Center in their auditorium. There's going to be employers there and resources for people who want help editing a resume. So I would say just come with a resume if you're looking for a job or if you know anyone who is looking for a job. It's catered towards seniors, but it's not just for seniors. I also want to say another bill that got passed was the Harlem Renaissance Cultural District. So from 110th up to 155th, from the Hudson River to 5th Avenue is going to be considered the Harlem Renaissance Cultural District, and that will help bring increased funding for Black cultural arts and events that are happening in Harlem. So we're working on that project. So if you'd like any more information about that, you can always call us. And then I have I'm not done yet. We have 2 petitions. First is a 0% rent increase or the rent freeze. Borough President Mark Levine signed on to our letter. I know he had done other advocacy, but we had written a letter. I presented on this last meeting that we had written a letter with 22 elected officials to the Rent Guidelines Board asking for a 0% rent increase. But now public comment period is open. So we drafted up a petition that you can sign. And if you hand them back to me, I will scan them and make sure they get sent to the Rent Guidelines Board. Additionally, there is a plaza on 110th Street and Lenox Avenue, Malcolm X Boulevard. I know that's Community Board 10, but we've been doing a lot of work there. So every Saturday we have events there. Feel free to call us for what that upcoming event is. But we have another petition to build a statue of Malcolm X or commemorating Malcolm X on Malcolm X Plaza. There's a Frederick Douglass Circle. Thank you. There's a Frederick Douglass Circle on 110th and 8th Avenue and a Duke Ellington Circle on 110th and 5th. And there was always supposed to be a Malcolm X statue on 110th and Lenox Avenue, but it never got built. And so we have a petition to the mayor to make sure that that statue, he gets commemorated the way he's supposed to have been. So those are 2 petitions that I'd love for you guys to sign. I'll have them, I'll put them out front, and then I have the 2 flyers for our upcoming events. Thank you, guys. I hope I didn't take too much time.
Yes. 2 questions. The senior employment thing is when, and then you have it up here.
Oh, sorry. The senior job fair is this Saturday from 1 to 4 p.m.
And the second thing is the designation of a new historic district that could come to the Arts and Culture Committee so we can disperse it.
Okay.
Out this good community as well.
Okay, we'll make sure it gets sent to you.
Talk to you then.
Thank you.
And where is the senior job fair?
It's at Riverbank State Park, in the Performing Arts Center, in their auditorium. You need the exact address. That is 679 Riverside Drive at 145th Street, but it's all on the flyer. I can hand those.
Your contact?
Oh, yes. Our office phone number is 212. I'm gonna say that again, 212-222-7315. And again, my name is Lucas. You can ask for me. And then my email is Pasquina. That's P as in Peter, A S Q as in Queen, U as in umbrella, I N as in Nancy, A as in Apple. So Pasquina@nysenate.gov. Thank you.
Thank you, Lucas. Are there any other elected officials, representatives here that I'm not familiar with? Okay. Thank you. Moving on, I'm going to jump into action items, I believe. First action item is a letter of support for retirees, 1096 2024. I believe that's coming out of health. Yes, there we are.
Thank you, everyone. And we have Ann Anesta online in case there's an additional bit of information that we need. And this particular reso is to amend the New York City Administrative Code in relation to protecting the vested health insurance coverage and contributions of retired employees of the city of New York. So that includes community board staff, all public workers who are retired eligible, and of course for the city. So you see the letter here, and basically this board approved the resolution last year in June that was submitted, but there was also a legal battle going on, and that happened after June. So bottom line, it didn't, none of this, that particular resolution didn't work for the retirees. So this year, that battle is still going forward, and we have offered a letter of support the administrative code to satisfy what is needed. And is there something else that I should add? Speak quickly, Anna Nesta. Well, her name is up there. Any questions or other? And so we are, this was supported in committee and was suggested to pass to the general board tonight.
Okay.
Does it ask for a vote?
Yes.
All in favor?
Vote for this.
Unanimous consent. Second.
Second.
Who was the first?
Daria.
Daria. Deidre McIntosh. Thank you, Laquita.
She's here, but she don't ask you.
Next,
So hopefully it's not a problem. Thank you.
letter of support.
Next is a letter of support for Heritage Health and Housing, Inc. pursuing a New York State Main Street grant program. This letter also passed in committee and was voted to move forward in executive with a friendly amendment. And because there's, some issue with some of the residents perhaps not showing themselves in ways acceptable to some. So we added in the second paragraph, the last sentence, we encourage Heritage's pronouncement of protocol through its good neighbor policy to be practiced by its residents and clients that promises the practice of civility, neighborly well-being, and environmental care. But this particular grant allows the additional monies needed to complete the healthcare center that was forced to move from 1727 Amsterdam Avenue to 1649 Amsterdam Avenue. And of course, that's been such a big issue in the community, but Heritage was able to use the space that it already has in the landmarks district, and they have complied with necessary landmarks requirements and other questions and suggestions made of them. So it's actually a grant to complete their funding. And of course, with New York Main Street, there will be other stipulations because that facility and building becomes a target area building renovation, which could really improve other buildings and businesses in the community through its grant.
Call for a vote.
Question. My question is this building that we're talking about, which they're going to build on the corner of 145th Street and Amsterdam Avenue, basically, they had requested to, they just kind of pushed in to say that they were going to build this building. And to be housed in this building will be people who have a mental illness. And that's still a block away from a public school. So what does this have to do with their agreement that they agreed to do this? In other words, are we aiding them to build this structure on 145th Street and not keep the promise that they said that they would keep their promise to make sure they would replace
Well,
that
this is-
facility?
This money will be for 1649 New Amsterdam Avenue, where Heritage already has a residence. And the bottom 4 floors have been renovated to become a health center. And the facility, accommodating the facility that was moved from 1727. So it's not adding 1649 does not add residences. They already have their residence on the top, I believe it's the top 5 floors. They're already there. This provides the renovation to accommodate the health facility that had to be moved from 1727. Amsterdam.
Any other questions?
I don't understand.
It's helping the people 1727 Hertz,
Right.
not helping 1727.
Okay,
They had-
that I understood. That.
Right.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Call for,
Unanimous consent.
Second.
who, John Martin Green, unanimous consent, second by Alana Tuttle. Thank you. Next up, item 3, we establish NASA Goddard Institute Space Study.
At our May meeting, a representative from NASA spoke to our general board. A lot of us did not realize that NASA had an office in our area. But Dr. Allegra Legrand, who's here tonight, did speak. And because of DOGE, money was cut off from NASA, and they were forced out of their facility right above Tom's Restaurant, about 3 floors, better than a month ago. And they had to do it very hurriedly because basically everyone here is very aware of what's going on. And so anyway, they were forced out. Allegra, if you could say just 60 seconds, real fast.
We have to move.
So this resolution encourages, it's going to be sent to Columbia University and primarily to Columbia University and to city council members. Columbia University owns the property that their office was situated. And NASA, this particular program of NASA helps with research, working with educational institutions, and other discoveries and future clinical trials. Is there anything else that should be added?
Climate change. The first slide to tell you like what kind of climate change we're expecting in the next century. You read the New York Times, it tells you that this is the hottest year in 100,000 years. It's all coming out of the NASA lab, not some obscure place somewhere else, but the NASA lab that has been in this community since 1961. We would like to stay in this community. I've been working in this community since I was 21 years old. Like there's some people, like my colleagues, who've been working at that facility since the 1960s. So there are long-term members integrated into your community. I always feel awkward when I'm at community board meetings and I tell people, oh, I work for NASA, because I feel like it shuts down regular conversations we have with folks. But some of you from the community board, especially the transportation committee, will know, like parks. I'm part of their community also. I want to keep doing research to help communities like ours. And doing research when you are being forced to do institutional couch surfing is really challenging. And I really appreciate Luna's support and pulling together this resolution. And thank you all so very, very much for listening to this tonight.
Unanimous consent.
Second, Ted.
I abstain.
Okay, we have two abstentions.
Extension,
Pat Colwell and Lydia Gerson. Anyone else?
Clayton, Carlton Davis.
Carlton abstained as well.
Three
Three,
abstentions.
right. Walter was unanimous consent. It was second by whom?
Ted,
Seconded.
I need a name. I need a name.
Ted.
Ted, okay. Okay, thank you.
And our fourth resolution has come actually just out of the committee. Columbia University has a smart cities program where they are examining placing 5G, 4G LTE microwave towers in densely populated areas. They've started to do that within Manhattan. And what we are requesting, instead of waiting until something comes to us or happens to us later, we're asking now, or this resolution purports to ask Columbia to also begin a study on what the impact of microwave technology might be in our area. So they've already started it, but we need to find out how it impacts us rather than waiting until the last minute, which oftentimes happens in our community when we haven't gotten, paid attention too much or been too busy to deal with some of the advanced sciences. So the request is for to ask Columbia University with the Smart Cities program to study the levels of electromagnetic fields and the impact on our possible impact on our communities.
unanimous consent.
Second.
Okay,
That's it. Thank you, everyone.
Any abstentions?
okay, good. Thank you. Next up, item 5, 110th Street, Cathedral Parkway, protected bike lane. Out of uniform services.
Yes, out of Uniform Services and Transportation. At our May meeting, we passed a resolution to encourage DOT to put a protected bike lane along 110th Street from Riverside Drive to the East River Greenway, and would also encourage CBs 10 and 11 to pass this similar reso as well. Any questions?
Unanimous consent.
Ted Kovalev abstains.
Ted abstains.
Yeah, protected bike lane. All right.
Oh, how does that work with the buses that the M4 and 5?
So perhaps DOT would study that and determine what the best way to handle that is. I'm sure, unfortunately, Felipe Castillo, who prompted this resolution, is unfortunately unable to attend tonight. He probably has a billion answers to this question. But we are encouraging DOT to actually study this and make all the best, best recommendation for it. So we had a no, so
We have to do a vote.
okay.
We'll do a vote. Tendency.
I think with the.
All right, we're gonna take a vote regarding this resolution. Okay, Walter Alexander,
C.
April Adams,
Yeah.
Joyce, do I need all the whole name?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, Joyce Adewume,
Yeah.
Marquis Bell,
Yes.
Andrea Brecker, Gregory Brito, Patricia Caldwell,
Yes.
Cameron Clark,
Yeah.
Felipe Castillo,
He's out.
okay, Vanessa Cogman,
Yes.
okay. Juan Palomares,
Yes.
okay. Gretchen Canelli, Gretchen,
She was online.
Okay, I'll come back. Carlton Davis,
Yes.
Dejan Del Pino, it's Justin Dent here,
No.
Merida Dunn,
Yes.
Elizabeth Eastman, you said yes?
Yes or no?
Yes,
Thank you. Victor Edwards,
yes.
Charlotte Fine,
Yes.
Lydia Gerson, you said no? Thank you. John Martin Green,
Yes.
Michael Gross,
Yes.
Daria Hardiman, Monique Harden Cordero, yes. Laquita Henry,
Yes.
Heather Jason. Chris, oh, sorry.
Chris said yes.
Heather, you said yes, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And Chris is excused,
Yeah.
correct? So I want to make sure. Patricia Watler Johnson,
Yes.
Milton Justice,
Yes.
Tiago Keel,
Yeah.
Ted Kovaloff,
Abstain.
Christina Maria Lopez,
Yes.
Tina Lumley,
Yes.
Rhea McDonald, Deirdre McIntosh Brown,
Yes.
Alana Mercado, Clotilde Mogunia, still not on? Georgette Morgan Thomas, not here, right? Okay. Lena Nepo,
Omnisci.
okay, that's what I was gonna say, okay. Solomon Prophet,
I'm a yes.
Teresa Koragan,
Yes.
Janaria Ramirez. Hello?
No. So that was-
Okay, David Ratner,
Abstain.
Metin Sarshi,
Yes.
Martini, Martine, that's what I thought. Veronica Savage,
Abstain.
Jordan Share,
Yes.
Shantae Styles,
Yes.
Shanika Wilson.
Sure.
Okay. Alexander Jimenez, Jimenez,
No.
okay. Daniel Clark,
No.
okay, I believe we have a majority in terms of yes.
We'll get an actual count, yes.
Okay, I'll count it. Oh, hey. Okay. I believe I got this one, but anyway. So it looks like we have 30 people who said yes, 2 no's, and 4 abstentions. So it looks like it's going to pass.
Thank you. Our next resolution is regarding, Broadway Billiards and Bar, also known as La Maravilla Billiards and Bar, located at 3428 Broadway. That's in between, 139th and West 140th Street. This location has been brought to our committee's attention for what, years now, months and months and months. They're not great neighbors. They have excessive noise complaints constantly. Disorderly conduct issues. They play music until like 3, 4 a.m. It's really double parking issues. They're really, really horrible neighbors. And despite the great efforts of the 30 precincts, they still continue to really just terrorize the residents that are within that building and the folks around it as well. So this resolution is just calling on the city agencies and our elected officials to really do something about what's going on at this location.
Unanimous consent?
Second.
Oh, okay.
What, anybody else abstaining?
Who abstained?
Cameron. Clark. Who called for unanimous consent? Walter? Second, okay, great. All righty.
All right, thank you.
Yes.
Just very quickly, in terms of the voting, for those persons who have not voted yet, please do so immediately online. If you are having trouble, come over to the table. We have paper ballots that'll be quicker because we had stated until 8:30, so that's 9 minutes.
That's the next item.
Okay.
Stop. We'll bring it.
Yeah, just do it quickly, just do it. And then Signy has another very important notation
Double
quickly.
check the folks that were not here earlier are still not here, online or in person. Andrea Brecker,
No.
okay. Gregory Brito,
Nope.
Felipe, we know.
Right.
Daniel Clark Jr.
Nope.
Okay. Rhea McDonald,
Nope.
Reverend Georgette Morgan Thomas,
No.
Janira Ramirez.
No.
Okay, those are still not here, not eligible to vote. Do you want me to say who hasn't voted yet?
Uh,
I haven't voted. Okay, I can say who hasn't voted yet. There's maybe 20 people, 15 people.
well, no, let's give them a little more time. and,
Yeah, so online till 8:30. If you can't figure it out from your email, come see us over at the table.
Paper ballot. So if you want to get a paper ballot, you can get a paper ballot as well. Then we can move on.
Kennedy?
Kennedy, radio dispatch.
Good evening, everyone. Real quickly, this is action item number 7, a letter of support for Kennedy Radio Dispatcher. They are a taxi livery car service. They are at 3696 Broadway at the corner of 153rd Street. Every I think 10 years, the TLC requests services like this to get community support to maintain their TLC license. And as a dispatcher, they came to Community Board 9 and asked us for a letter of support. We drafted the letter of support. It's in your packet. This was an urgent request with a timeline. So we were able to email committee members within Uniform Services and Transportation about it. We spoke to the 30th precinct and we had got no complaints, and there's community support around Kennedy Taxi Dispatcher. So I'm asking for your support to give them a letter of support so that they can maintain their TLC license.
Unanimous consent?
Second.
Second by whom? Veronica. Great. Anyone abstaining? Any no votes?
What is this?
Taxi.
Taxi license.
Okay.
Dispatcher.
Yep. Passes that. Next up, St. Nicholas Park Playground, 133rd Street. Oh, good.
Good evening, Heather Jason, Landmarks Preservation and Parks Committee. This is a letter of support requesting fiscal year 2026 funding from Councilmember Yusuf Salam to allocate from his fiscal year 2026 capital budget to fund the renovation of the West 133rd Street playground at St. Nicholas Park. St. Nicholas Park covers 22 acres. It spans from West 127th Street to 141st Street, between St. Nicholas Terrace and St. Nicholas Avenue. Chloe Day School came before our committee in May, and also to the Community Board 10
committee in April. They came before our Parks Committee in May. And they brought to our attention many hazardous conditions at the West 133rd Street Playground. And so what we're asking urgently is to request funding specifically from our council member that covers both Community Board 9 and Community Board 10, because many of the school programming that occurs at this particular playground are in Community Board 10. So it's a joint effort to support additional funding that we would not be able to otherwise receive without the help of our council member and other elected officials. Because as we know, although New York City Parks Department stewards more than 14% of New York City's land, it only is allocated less than 1% of the city's budget. So additional funding from our elected officials is the only way to get some of these parks and playgrounds funded. So I'm asking for your support and and we need to have this presented by Friday, if possible. It's really urgent.
Question?
There's a question.
Yes.
Actually, a comment. I mean,
Oh.
I think this is the amazing, good
Yeah.
letter, but, I think it's in the second sentence, which ends with 4 examples. I'm just wondering if it would be okay with the size, for example. I should.
Gotta speak up a
Well,
little
what's the
bit.
question?
I just wanted to.
Side examples?
Excising, for example, because I think when you say.
Take it out.
Significant features include, you don't really need, for example, at the end.
So remove it.
Yeah, so I'm asking to.
Yes.
Remove
That
that
could
part.
be edited.
A friendly amendment to.
Yes,
to
yes.
say-
Yeah, otherwise, I think it's incredible.
Oh, just leave it as numerous gardens
Yeah. period.
and leave period. And then I noticed another edit, it's the very last playground, there's a typo, which should say West 133rd Street instead of West 113.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So I noticed that too. Okay, well, we'll make those edits. Thank you so much for your input. We really appreciate it. Okay. Thanks.
Thank you.
All righty. That takes us to renewal of liquor licenses, I believe, yes. First up, Clove Indian Restaurant.
Evening again. Sorry, I didn't introduce myself. Solomon Prophet. I'm the co-chair of Uniform Services and Transportation Committee. I have, let's see, 6 liquor license applications that came before the committee. The first one being Clove Indian Restaurant, 1592 Amsterdam Avenue, between 138th Street and 139th Street. We looked at the open public data for this particular establishment. There were no complaints. We also checked with the 30th precinct and there were no complaints for this particular establishment. Chair, do you want to vote all at once at the end, or do you want to go one by one?
Let's do the group.
Say again?
Do you want to go one by
Let's
one?
do the group.
Okay, we're doing it by group, Ted. Okay, so I'm gonna go to number 10. Number 10 is Taqueria San Pedro, 3662 Broadway. This is between 151st Street and 152nd Street. Same thing here. We checked the open public data as well as checking with the 30th precinct. There were no complaints. Yes, Tina. None of them had any complaints, and the 30th precinct. Okay. I think for public record, we have to go, I have to list each one. So I'm sorry, but I gotta, let me just list each one of them.
Just do it.
Yeah, number 11 is Sofrito, 679 Riverside Drive, West 145th Street. Number 12 is La Casita Taqueria Restaurant Corporation, that's 1484 Amsterdam Avenue, between West 133rd Street and 134th Street. And then number 13 is Manhattanville Market, 3229 Broadway, between West 129th Street and 130th Street. And number 14 is Cordial Restaurant, 3448 Broadway, between 140th and 141st Street.
Unanimous consent.
Abstain.
Jason and Caldwell abstain. Any other abstentions? Thank you.
Great. Great, thank you, Colin. Okay, that takes us back to introductions. So I'd like each of our new members to say a few words, minute or two about themselves, so we know who you are. Starting with Alexander Abram.
Stand up.
Everybody, I'm Alexander Abraham. My name is actually Shemanis. But Eli, I think I'm a middleman. I've been here for about a decade. For Hunter of Columbia. I graduated from Columbia in with dual degrees in political science and Middle Eastern studies. Focus on US politics. My first degree and Lebanon second. One of the first things that I did when I was in Columbia was
Yes, to the podium. Yeah. That'll take time. Project.
Sorry, we'll cover the pro code, so I can't project my voice as much as I'd like to. But one of the first things that I did when I was at Columbia was publish a piece about the obnoxious manner in which the institution expanded in for community. One of my lifetime goals is to pursue AJD, preferably at Yale Law School with a very particular goal, and that is to gut, if not eviscerate, Kilo v. London. The whole precedent, the entire precedent of use for recognizing economic development as a valid premise for a Fifth Amendment taking is something that I never thought I'd see in our lifetime, but alas, we did, and we can see the aftermath of it here. The net manners in which my institution, well, I am a proud product of it, just for the record, but you know, the obnoxious manner in which they've spread to this community and the indelible harm that they've done to this community is not something that I'd like to see anywhere. Not in our city, not in our state, and not in our country. So one of the things that I like, or one of the reasons that motivated me to join Community Board 9 is to serve in the housing community. Perhaps even with the out landmarks, if there is a space for me there. And I'd like to get to work and to learn plentifully from those among us who are veterans and who, you know, there are many years of experience on me, and to contribute to that goal. So I think. Well, thank you very much.
Okay. All righty. Marquise Bell, we have to keep it a little bit short.
I got you. Good evening, everybody. I'm Marquise Bell. How are you all
Good
doing?
evening.
I was born in Morningside Heights, so I was born here about 3 years ago. Left, raised in North Carolina, and came back. My wife and I and our daughter Zoe. We moved back to Morningside Heights about 5 years ago, so I'm on 110. I worked in the entertainment industry. I've also worked in advertising for 3 years, and most recently I've been in tech for about 8 years. So I was at, you know, Twitter. I was fired by Elon Musk, so that's kind of and then most recently I've been at Google. So I moved over to tech consulting early this year. So my base is just basically just joining because I want to have a voice to help everyone. My daughter's school is routed in social justice. One of the things that we typically do is Manhattan Country School. It actually recently just closed, but it just closed recently. So my whole entire thing is just fighting for unheard voices and just kind of making things put out there. I work with the board at Friends of Morningside Park. So one of the things, like you just said, as well as Columbia just expanding inside of other areas that, you know, I kind of study and see exactly what we can do to kind of run everything for the neighborhood and the community. That's it.
Thank you. Mr. Cameron Clark. Good
evening, folks.
Yeah.
Y'all can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Good evening, folks. My name is Cameron Clark. Happy to join the board. I've been, a resident of Harlem for, I think, about 7 years. My family has lived here since, the sixties. They unfortunately had to go to Jersey City to give birth to me because it was too expensive in New York. A common theme I'm starting to hear about gentrification is displacement in the community, and that's actually basically one of the main reasons that I joined the board. My background, I grew up in Jersey City, went to Howard for undergrad, HU, I don't know, maybe. Went to Oxford, in the UK for Masters in Public Policy, and came back to the, in medical school right now at Columbia, so I have a very complicated relationship with my institution. And I actually currently, I'm on like a leave of absence from medical school where I'm working for We Act for Environmental Justice based in Harlem, done a lot of, work in this community. So, I'm, very interested in, continuing some of that anti-gentrification, anti-displacement, land use work, and starting to like really reevaluate our relationship with that institution and trying to like take back a little bit of community power. Speaking for myself, not my voice.
Thank you so much. Dejan Del Pino, I got that right.
I live on 150th and Broadway.
Hey.
From Sydney, actually. I lived there since 2019. I've been in New York since 2017. I went to law school in New Jersey at Rutgers. And I'm originally from a small town in Arizona that probably no one's heard of, unless they like old movies, 310 Yuma. I'm an attorney. My office is in Grand Central area. I work a lot remotely and also obviously going to court as a litigation attorney. So that's me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, Charlotte Fine.
She's online.
She's online, right?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yay, okay, all right, I will be very fast. So I'm a transplant. I'm from the UK originally, but I love New York, and this is my second time living here, and I'm never leaving. I live on 139th Street. I have 2 kids who are in college age and sort of very invested in the community, and they're probably not leaving either. I teach at yeshiva. I'm a professor. I'm also doing a bunch of other sort of social justice degrees and things in the background, but yeah, I'm very excited to be involved in this. So my very brief introduction.
Thank you. Next up is Michael Gross.
Hey everyone, how's it going? My name is Michael Gross. I live on 112 at Broadway. I, a bit of background, I'm half Austrian, half Ethiopian. And I was born in Kenya, moved over here when I was about 6 or 7. Actually grew up on Roosevelt Island. But yeah, starting law school here, so I've been here for the past year.
Australian.
Australian, yeah. And actually, the whole reason that I'm here now is because of the work I was doing in law school with Morningside Heights Community Coalition, and really just trying to better Columbia's relationship with its neighbors. It's an institution that doesn't pay $180 million a year in property tax. That really says a lot. So happy to be here, guys.
Milton Justice.
I grew up in Texas and went to SMU and graduated on a Sunday and moved to New York on Monday. And I just, anyway, I early in my film career, I did 3 documentaries. One called When Women Kill, about women in prison for homicide. The second one was called What Sex Am I, which was the first documentary about what was then called gender dysphoria, long before the word trans existed. And then I won an Oscar for a documentary called Down Mountain. And the thing about the documentary Down Mountain America is it kept saying, we're going to have a problem, and no one listened. And so I think I've spent my life angry. And so I was happy to be accepted here because I thought, yes, this is a place where you can be angry and do something. Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Ms. Lopez? Cut it short.
Yes.
Need a mic kind of person.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. My name is Christina Maria Lopez, pronouns she and or they. I am a third-gen born and raised resident of Morningside Heights. My family is Afro-Cuban and Dominican.
Whoa.
And I'm very already humbled listening to so many of the stories already shared and really excited to be in this space with you all. What landed me on this path, though I think I did apply to the board maybe like 2 years ago, but this year I applied and I won't say I knew I was gonna get in, but I've been fighting a long fight against eviction over the past year since the death of my grandma on May 6, 2024. We lived, or she lived in a rent stabilized apartment that I shared with her, and it was a co-op conversion. My family lived there since the 70s. And if you haven't dealt with that situation, it often means that your neighbors become your enemies. So I am fighting the good fight. I have my community support, so that lifts me up. Beyond that sob story, I'm someone that's always cared about my community, and I like to think of this moment as adversity as something that has lifted me up from just doing nothing and dedicating more of my time to giving back. I did undergrad and grad at Hunter College. My background is in the arts. This is specifically visual art and writing. One of my friends called me an enigma. I like to be humble, but I want to share all of my passions with you all so you can make use of it while I'm dedicated to giving back. So I've worked in hospitality with some of the best chefs and bartenders here in New York City. Then I was like, why am I doing this? I'm a very spiritual person that is also dedicated to Buddhism and Orisha practice. So I wanted to use my talents in a better way. I made moves into studying and teaching meditation and doing something called Kapsula work. My grandmother and I ran a popular TikTok together where I was her caregiver and we shared our life there. So let me fast forward, keep it short, sorry. I worked at New York Roadrunners by day doing marketing and I think that's it. Thank you
all. Next up is, I don't wanna butcher this.
Lena?
Yes. The last name again?
Napalm.
Napalm. I'll work on it.
Lena is fine, so thank you for saying Lena, right? Very quickly, I've lived here since 1999, so 26 years now. I raised a child, mother. She grew up here, on several houses around here, but in Morningside Heights over the last 26 years. I'm a professor of social work, so I have a social work degree and I was a social worker for 10 years and then I got a PhD. So I moved here to go to Columbia and I'm a professor now at Rutgers. So I've worked kind of in the direction of what everyone else does. And I study poverty and social policy. So I'm kind of a policy expert around all things related to poverty and inequality. Those are the things that make me stay up at night, that in this country, as you know, we have horrible poverty rates. Which is in the world, and that makes me really angry. So kind of the anger thing, and I just wanted to do something at the local level and contribute back to my neighborhood where I've loved to live and have been incredibly happy. So thank you. Thank you.
Next up, Teresa Cole Ragan.
Hi, everybody. I'm a long
Teresa?
resident of Federal Grant.
Gotta come up front.
Teresa?
Up front.
Good evening, everybody. How you doing? Yes, I'm Teresa Colesraven, and I've been a avid advocate for general grant houses for years. I've been there 50 years. I'm a mother, a wife, and a grandmother. And thank you. And my policy is, how can I even begin? Living in the public housing and seeing how it deteriorated so fast right in front of me. It's just so heartbreaking. So my voice was falling on deaf ear. And I have been applying to the board since 2021. Finally, I'm here. Okay, I'm really an advocate for a cleaner, safer environment. Yeah, and my motto is ugliness in your surroundings come from ugliness of the heart.
Whoa.
You change your heart, the surrounding changes. That's my motto. And I'm an advocate for the seniors because I am a senior. I got my degree, Bachelor of Science at the age of 59. Accounting is my thing. I like crunching numbers. And business is my minor. So with that being said, I hope I could be an asset to the board.
You will.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
David Ratner.
Hi, I am a retired lawyer. I'm not in Columbia. I got NYU is this bad as you. When I got out of law school, I worked for Bedford Stuyvesant Community Legal Services, doing mostly housing law. And then I transitioned into private practice, doing clinical representation. And I've more or less spent my entire professional career fighting gentrification. I'm a lifelong New Yorker. I've lived on 110th Street for the last 20 years. I'm in love with the city, and I think that the city depends on the strength of its community. So I felt something of an obligation in my retirement to give my time. And I'm very happy to be here, and I hope I can contribute. Well,
Oh, next is, oh boy. Yes.
Sorry.
Got a couple of months to work on it. This summer.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Mateen Sarsi, and I am originally from East Harlem. I'm about 2 weeks away from completing my capstone, so I'll be receiving a master's in public administration. So I've been on hiatus for the last 2 years. I'm not new to community work. I originally started my career as a community liaison for Councilmember Levin out in Brooklyn, specifically around housing. So anything that involved the roof over your head, we were most definitely involved. I did that for about 5 years, and for the last 8 years, I've been working for the New York City Housing Authority. Only because I'm unconditionally supportive of public housing. It's the only true affordable housing, regardless of what politicians say. And I like to cause trouble.
Good trouble.
Absolutely, some good trouble. So I look forward to bringing some of that here to the community board, and thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, Jordan Shearer. She's still online?
Yeah, she is. You're up, Jordan.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can now.
Hi, I'm Jordan. I grew up in the suburbs of Chicago, and I got my degrees in bachelor's in physics and in theater, and I have a master's degree in mechanical engineering. I currently work as a system administrator. Think glorified IT. My expertise is in data cleansing and data analytics. So just think spreadsheets are my life. I just moved to New York this spring because my wife just started her postdoctoral research fellowship at Columbia University. She's an astrophysicist. And I'm a little terrified about what's happening to academia in general right now. But the reason I'm here is because no matter where we end up, I like to be very involved in the community. And the rent is just too darn high. So I hope to contribute to the community in any.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Shantae Styles.
I want a few things just so it can be quick. I'm from 321 St. Nicholas. I've been a Harlem person all my life. I work at Jericho Project as an assistant, an executive assistant of the provide subsidized housing for veterans. I also graduated from City College. I'm a CUNY graduate. I do have a certified cannabis cultivation license. I'm also the COO of the Prison Life Society, the host of Good Friday Radio, and my 22-year-old son dropped me off here, Harlem's princess.
So just to be clear, you have a 22-year-old son?
Yes.
Okay.
Wow.
All right. I think, did I miss any new people that are not on my list? I don't think so. Okay. As I said before, you've heard for yourself, we have some talent in the room.
Yeah.
To go with the talent we already had. And I look forward to doing some great things. A lot of people around the housing issue. So we're working on that.
Can I make a brief?
Was I speaking?
I'm so sorry, sir.
Well, we went to junior high school together, didn't they? Yeah. Yes, sir, go ahead.
Thank you. Family,
Oh.
John Martin Green. I chair the San Diego 11 LGBTQ Task Force, which is a working group that operates as a watchdog to identify short circuits and voids in quality of lifestyle resources and services, and to advocate for resolution of those short circuits. And among the initiatives that we've undertaken of late include beyond offering recommendations, both capital and programs to our district needs statement. We have convened public education and community engagement screenings, focus group, and working in conjunction with the CUNY School of Public Health and Community Board 10, we have conceived a community needs assessment survey, which we're going to be rolling out starting with Harlem Pride over the course of the summer. And we're looking for members. And so I promised Clayton Sanford, who said he would beat me up after school. I didn't make this pitch. Please, should you feel so inclined, please join us in the fall.
Election committee, Peter.
Thank you, Chair. And thank you, everyone. I want to make a special thanks to our committee, Lydia Gerson, Maria Aristide Ferrer, prior to her last function as a general board member. And then Signy Mortensen, who again, her as a board member, former board member, and now technical consultant for this project. And April Adams, who substituted for us. Other members were not available so that we would have a full committee account of committee members, and Laquita Henry, they elected me chair. It has been wonderful working with this group. Yeah. And so, drum roll, We have out of a total roll call number of 40 persons, 36 of you here this evening, and then the other 4 on Zoom. This is the result of our esteemed election. Assistant Secretary, the Honorable Shanika Wilson.
28 official tallies and 2 abstentions.
Secretary, the Honorable Solomon Prophet.
It is 40 tallies, no abstentions.
And I'm gonna skip one and we'll come back. The Honorable Deirdre McIntosh Brown for Treasurer.
That was 40 tallied, 0 abstentions.
For second vice chair, the Honorable John Martin Green.
That was 39 tallied, 1 abstention. They still love you, they just.
First vice chair, the Honorable Monique Hardin Cordero.
That's 39 tallied and 1 abstention.
And for chair, Victor Edwards, the Honorable Victor Edwards.
And that is 40 tallied and 0 abstentions.
Chair.
Congrats, Chair. Now to come back, we have for Assistant Treasurer, the Honorable Felipe Castillo Trujillo, who's a doctor. He's at a conference in New Orleans. We have always maintained that the candidate has to be present, and I don't know, Ted may have some ideas on in terms of our bylaws. Otherwise, what we are suggesting is he was overwhelmingly voted for, but we also can hold this vote in September. This has been done.
I did review the bylaws as we were sitting there. It doesn't say verbatim that the candidate has to be here on election night. It says they do have to be there for candidates night, which he was.
Okay.
So officially by the bylaws, Ted can correct me if he thinks that's incorrect, because he certainly has more years.
I have to tell you that I think your interpretation is absolutely correct.
Yeah.
It specifically says for candidates night.
Right.
Absolutely not saying that suggests that one does not have to be there to vote for themselves.
So he's okay.
So we have a full slate. And
it's a live link.
The results will be emailed out to everyone. And so anyway, it's been terrific. Congratulations. We look forward to a great new year.
Any old.
Great job. May I just say congratulations to the committee. They did a great job.
Yes, they did.
Yes, thank you.
And I look forward to working with all of you again.
Thank you, Ted. Appreciate you really much. Thank you.
Ted.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh,
Finish.
here's Shanika. Okay, great. Any old business?
No.
Okay, I'm sorry, one more announcement,
Just
quickly.
very quickly, good evening, everyone. Thank you once again for the opportunity to serve. And as your first vice chair, I look forward to working with all the new people as well as the current. On the table, there was a flyer for our upcoming cannabis event in our CB. That will be on Saturday, June 28th. We hope you'll stop by. If there's any interest in learning more about the industry. It'll be running from 11 to 3. On Saturday, they will be at Columbia's Forum. And that's it. We hope you'll stop by and be there. Thank you.
Any old business? Any new business? Motion to adjourn. Meeting adjourned.
Happy summer, guys.
Take care.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I just wanna, yeah. Bring up your ballots, please. Thank you. Are you talking?
We didn't do it.
Probably. Yeah, because it's not far. All right. Okay. I see it and I'll know how to say it. Thank you. Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Oh, sure. Show me candidates now. Okay. Thank you. But you will, let you know, trust and believe. Because we're working on that. We will let you know. Well, like you said, we encourage everybody to go to the town once they're here and see what's going on, but we will assign people. And we'll let them know. Thank you so much. Okay. Please, a blue sheet.
I'll do it Sunday.
Thank you so much.
We talking.
Sure.
Yeah, I look for houses. So I want.
I know. So I need, so much. Yeah.
Congratulations. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll send it myself. We will, talk about the house.
Okay, people are, thank you so much.
Yeah, we're working on that.
Oh.
All right. Yeah.